go live. Good evening, everybody. I am Dr. Jenna Zellers, your host of the 21-day Mend Yourself Well Facebook Live Summit. And I have a beautiful soul inside and out, Ana Lee Hjelm, joining me this evening. She's going to be talking about her story and how she had to reinvent what her story of success looked like. So Ana Lee, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are personally and what you're up to in this world?
Awesome. Well, first of all, Jenna, thank you so much for inviting me and for having me here. It is such an honor and a privilege to connect with you and be able to share my story on your platform. I love what you've been creating. So thank you so much. I'm a huge fan of your work.
Thank you. I have goosebumps. I love it.
You're welcome. So my name's Ana Lee, and I am an entrepreneur. I'm a mom. I have 3 little ones. My oldest is 6, 5, and then the baby's 1. My husband and I have been married for 10 years, and we've both always kind of had this entrepreneurial spirit about us. And both of us definitely are have a desire to achieve and to be successful in our lives. And not necessarily successful meaning a lot of money, but just being good contributors and doing our best and doing well. And so when I first graduated from college, I graduated with a minor in business management, and I immediately pursued a career in retail management. And in that career, I was working 55 to 60-hour work weeks all over the clock. And I was being recognized really early in my career as someone for upper leadership to watch. And I was constantly being recognized by upper leadership saying, we see potential in you, we want to mentor you. And I was always given these amazing opportunities to grow and succeed. And in fact, early in my career, I received promotions in my career yearly, and I was given more and more responsibility every single year. So I was fortunate to be able to have amazing leadership, an amazing mentor, and then I had people who were very successful in upper management see my potential and really nurture that. So early on, I really began to crave being the best version of myself. I really began to crave promotions, payment increases, because that was that money and those titles were how I was trained to measure if you were doing well or not, if you were a good contributor, if you were talented, if you had value to offer, because that's how the corporate world really does measure value, is through promotions and income. And so when I transitioned, when my second child was born, I was on maternity leave, after really investing my whole life into my career at that point, I was really torn, feeling like I wanted to be a mom. I wanted to have more time freedom to be the mom and the wife that I wanted to be. But I still had so much ambition. I knew in my heart that I was still meant to have a career and to contribute professionally as well. So I actually went on this journey during my maternity leave, trying to look for a new career. And I couldn't find anything in the traditional space that would allow me to develop people, develop talent, to use my leadership skills, to use my personal skills, and to be able to really feel fulfilled in what I was working on. And that's when I actually found network marketing, and I began to create my career in network marketing. And when I found that career, it hit me like a lightning bolt. It's like, oh my gosh, this has been in front of me the whole time. It gives me the opportunity to really thrive professionally and still be able to be the mom that I want to be. So I hit the ground running. And because I had a huge why, I wanted to replace my career, I got to work. I had so much hustle and so much drive. And I took all of this ambition that I had in the young, naive baby version of me. And I worked my career, my 55 to 60-hour work weeks in my salaried career, where you didn't, as the manager, as the upper leadership in the store, you didn't leave until the work was done. So I worked that career And literally in pockets of time throughout my day, I would be working on my side hustle or building my dream. So beginning my business as an entrepreneur. And then I'd go home and I would do dinner and bedtime routine with my little babies. And then after they were in bed, I would work late, late, late into the night on my dream. So fortunately, because I had this work ethic, this passion, this big why, and this vision, and I was really, really confident in the company that I aligned with, that it would allow me to help change lives the way my life was being changed, I was blessed to receive a lot of success early on. And I was making my way through the ranks in and promoting very quickly in my business in network marketing. And then after 2 years, I achieved kind of the rank in my company that is known for, like, that's the game changer. When you achieve this rank, you've made it. It's like the beginning of the top leadership in the company. And the amazing thing is that on the journey of building my own business, I had been working on mindset, and I started learning about like manifesting and visualization and positive affirmations and acting as if, like, be the version of yourself that you want to be right now. Start acting like you want to be. And I was doing all of these amazing coaching techniques and mindset techniques that were really carrying me through, but I wasn't leaving any room for self-care. And so when I made it to what I felt like was the top at that time, and then I had some of my business partners have different things going on in their life that caused them to choose to go a different direction and no longer partner in building a business because it wasn't in alignment for them anymore. And then we had all sorts of stuff going on in our personal life. And this goal that I achieved suddenly was like, and this thing that had defined me and that I had tied so much of my own self-worth to no longer existed. And that was when I really hit a breaking point. And it became a 2-year journey for me where I began to discover that there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way to be able to have self-worth, to be able to contribute and to add value, and to recognize that you have more to give, whether you have a title or not. And that's kind of where my journey began. And I would love to share that story with you guys tonight, kind of what that looked like. Like, how do you rebuild your power after failure? And to me, that was failure, achieving a goal and then not maintaining that goal and feeling like I fell backwards. That felt like failure to me at the time.
You're making my job so easy, AnaLee. Like, I'm just sitting here, like, just listening to your story. I love it. And of course, I want you to just share away. Just keep sharing, because I don't have to prompt you. You're already providing so much value. And I know the rest of your story has so much more value to share with our audience who might be in a tough spot, whether it's their 9-to-5 job or whether they're trying to be a business owner or in direct sales, or maybe just a mom and wanting to go out and see what is out there for them. I think redefining and identifying with, and honestly, I've struggled with something similar as a chiropractor. My entire identity was wrapped up in my success in my practice. And at 27, I reached the peak of my chiropractic business. And I was like, what's next? I had my dream office. I saw however many patients a week but I knew that there had to be something more fulfilling than like this idea of success, what everyone thought success was. So I'm going to let you just take it away and tell us the rest of your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's this saying in the coaching world. I've been blessed to have exposure to a lot of incredible coaches. And I remember one of my first early mentors and coaches was the very first one to teach me the principle, new level, new devil. And what that means is that when you achieve a new goal and when you up level in your life, like, your body and your mind and your soul has this comfort zone. And when you've been living in this comfort zone, everything is normalized and regulated. And when you start to push one area of your life outside of your upper limit, when you start creating a new upper limit. So for me, I had this level of success in my career. And then when I pushed through that comfort zone and went to a whole new level in my career, this new level created a whole new experience of resistance, or the new devil. It's like sometimes in our head we think like, oh, if I only achieve this goal, or if only I was this, or only that way, or only if I achieved this success, then this pain or discomfort will no longer exist in our lives. In some ways, that's almost opposite. It's almost like when you achieve a new level, sometimes the pain and the discomfort at first is even more intense and uncomfortable. And so it was interesting for me because as I pushed through this new level, all of a sudden I had business partners quit and I felt really alone. My husband and I started fighting a lot, and we have a great, amazing relationship and companionship. And it's like suddenly my husband wasn't happy in his profession. So there was tension there because he was craving something new. And then I was a mom of 2 kids, like under 2. Like my daughter they're 21 months apart. So it was like a baby and a 2-year-old. And dude, that is hard. And so suddenly it was like, I thought that I would achieve this goal and then it would be bliss. And it was like the exact opposite. And don't get me wrong, like I reveled in that experience and I felt the joy of that success, and I would never do it differently. But I like to share that with people because sometimes we all seem to think that once we achieve our goals, like all of the pains are going to go away. And kind of what I realized is that when resistance shows up, it's probably giving you the opportunity to choose which beliefs you're going to hold on to and continue to move forward with, and which beliefs you're going to let go of. Because we all are built up, we all kind of choose how we move through the world based off of belief systems that we have. And this was taught to me by one of my great coaches. And it's the concept of we all have a primary question that we ask ourselves. And this primary question is different for everyone, but it's something that if you think about, you find a pattern in your life that you measure all that you do against a question that you ask yourself, like subconsciously in your mind. So my primary question is, did I do all that I could? So when I thought about what I was achieving or accomplishing, or, in my relationships, like if my friendships were thriving and if my social life, like every area of my life, it was always, did I do all that I could? Some of my friends' primary questions, like one of them was, did I do it right? Very much that perfectionism, like, did I do it the right way? Another one of my friends, his primary question was, am I loved? So he measured everything on his life was like, was he being loved or received or accepted? And so those are just some examples of primary questions, but you can imagine that when I first started to have that like post withdrawal after achieving this massive goal, at first I started to feel really, really bad about myself. Like, oh man, I must be a loser. I can't hold on to this achievement. And I really began to see that primary question play out in my life big time. And of course, the reason why these primary questions are so significant is because primary questions are disempowering beliefs. There is a blessing to because they are what helped you create your drive, your motivation, your ambition. They're actually what helped to mold you into the person you are today. So to like express gratitude to the growth and the experiences that they gave you in your life. But ultimately, many times our primary questions, they're disempowering beliefs because ultimately it is some version of making us feel not enough. Mm-hmm. Because if you ask yourself, like I was asking myself, did I do all that I could? The answer to that question is always going to be no, which ultimately will always leave me feeling not enough, or like I didn't do all that I could. I didn't, I'm not enough in some way. And so then what I began to find is that after I started to feel really bad and kind of revel in this not enoughness, I stopped dreaming. I stopped visualizing. I stopped manifesting, and I stopped taking action. And ultimately, I ended up starting to kind of resent my ambition. I started to create this belief that like, man, if I wasn't so ambitious, then I could just be happy. Like, why do I have ambition? And as I went on this journey of learning about primary questions and learning that you can actually choose to reframe them, that's when I began to feel more empowering beliefs come back. So now the question that I ask myself now is, let me think about it. I say it to myself, but how can I feel even more love and peace right now and trust myself and Heavenly Father, God, or the universe even more? And the reason why that is my new question, because what I was finding is that when I am feeling bad about myself or feeling unsuccessful in some way, I find that it's because I'm going back to that old question. And the feeling that I'm craving when I'm trying to measure against the old question is love and peace. So it's just a check and balance for me to be like, okay, how can I choose to feel peace and love, right, and enoughness in this moment? And then the other piece of it is the times when I'm not feeling like I did that all I could, it's because I'm not trusting myself, or I'm like depending on myself too much, when really like life is much bigger than ourselves. We're not meant to go through this life solely working on our own successes. It takes the universe and it takes a higher power. And so that question now really grounds me. And I can find that when I'm feeling crappy about my results or like I'm not doing great, it's because I'm using the old mindset. And so that is just one way that I've found to be a really simple tool to get grounded and present, to be able to feel exactly what I want to feel and just be aware of what I'm choosing to think and experience.
Can you repeat your question one more time for all those audience members taking notes?
Yes. So my new primary question is, how can I feel even more love and peace right now and trust myself and Heavenly Father, or whatever that is for you, God, the universe, even more? And so that has just been a blessing to me in my life, just to be recognized where my mind is.
That's beautiful. And I would love to encourage anyone who's watching who maybe doesn't even know what your primary question is that you ask on a regular basis, and what drives you and what keeps bringing back those negative thoughts and those negative action patterns. But what if you just exchanged your question for like, can I just trust myself that I am enough right now? Like, show me proof that I've done enough today, that I am enough in just showing up, that like I'm in good hands. I mean, could you imagine if we just shifted, if we all just did that one thing and shifted our that driving force behind so much of what we do? Because I don't know how many people I meet that just don't feel like they're enough. So I love that you're out there and you're not just building up women on your team, but you're also just building women in general. You are a social media influencer, and that's why, again, I feel so lucky to have you on the show. How can people learn more about you and what you love to share and teach? And what is it? Share with us a little bit more about what you teach on the side.
Yes. So my platform is Bold Empowerment. And this brand and platform came to me after, it was like when I was in my journey, and much of my journey, I felt that my success was dependent upon my doing and my qualifying, or my, like being enough. And then I finally had this thought come to me at one time, and it was like, it's about being. And sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that's so cliche, you just be. But really, that was when I started to feel the most grounded. And that was when I was really able to begin stepping into my full power and my potential. And so Bold Empowerment for me is about helping myself. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm still totally on this journey. Myself and others, like, step into their confidence and to be bold and to be brave and to take on the fear, even though it's uncomfortable. And then empowerment is my message of living a holistically empowered lifestyle and adding tools to your tool belt so that you can really grow into becoming the best version of yourself. Mm-hmm. So I just am creating a community of like-minded women and go-getters and And no matter where you're at in your journey, if you're in the highs of your successes or if you're in the lows of like what feels like your failures, like you're welcome. We would love to have you.
Yeah, I talked about that today in my platform of the Mend Yourself Well community. It's like wherever you are in this Mend Yourself Well journey, like you have good days and bad days, and you're on this continuum. And I feel like the same thing applies to your level of success. And just to like know that there is no like final destination, that every day is a new day, and that there are tools and resources, support and accountability, so you don't feel alone. um, I think that's what you and I are both trying to do, is like help people not feel so alone or desperate or lost on this journey, that we can
Absolutely.
come
I
to
feel
people.
like, yeah, I feel like a huge part of one of the key insights that I learned is that before, when kind of society and corporate America taught me that titles and money were how you measured your worth and your success and your value, that really taught me to try to go after significance and like this intense need for significance, not because I wanted attention. In fact, sometimes I feel really uncomfortable with attention, but I thought that I needed that stuff is significance. I was going after those significant titles and measurements because what I actually wanted behind all the significance, behind that facade and mask, was love and connection. And so when I began to realize, like, oh, wait, I didn't want to, I mean, of course, I wanted to be successful because me achieving this goal allows me to give and serve at a greater way. It allows me to be free for in my time and in my finances for my family. It allows me to create other women who are empowered in their lives. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting money to be able to serve and do good. But what I really realized is that I wanted to achieve so that I could be invited to special events, or that I could be surrounded with other amazing women who inspire me, so that I could be invited and be included. And when I made that shift and realized that I wasn't actually after the significance, I was after the love and connection, I began making my platform about creating a space for love and connection. And creating the goal of love and connection has allowed me to create opportunity for me to feel success in way greater depth than I ever felt before. And it's been a huge blessing to me, and it's a fun journey to go on. So if you're in the middle of the feeling like a failure, just know it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like there's also the kind of saying where a setback is a setup for a comeback. And that's where I feel like I'm at. I feel like I've already achieved. I know what it takes. I know how to do it. And I've already failed. I know how awful that feels. I know how to get through that. And now I'm ready to serve and to fulfill my true mission, which is helping women be the best version of themselves and creating opportunity for us to be able to be a community full of love and connection.
Yes. And wouldn't you say that you can have that love and connection at no matter what rank you are? Like, even if you down rank one, like you still have all of those things accessible to you. It's not about your status. It's not about your rank. It's about like the choices you make on a daily basis of like how you choose to act and how you choose to just be and how you choose to like what you choose to attract into your life. Like, it's just a choice. It's not the outside environment dictating whether or not you're going to have love or connection. It's inside.
Absolutely. And I think that was like the biggest takeaway for me. I actually had a really transformational, sorry, my computer is beeping. I had a really transformational.
This is life. So
We'll
you don't
quit.
have to be perfect on this show.
But I did have an experience this summer where suddenly, like, I went to this business retreat with my mentors, and we went through this journey. And I've already been doing a lot of healing and personal growth for 2 years. Like, I've been in the trenches. I've been doing the work. So I was like, oh, I've learned a lot. Like, I've done this stuff. But then this summer, I kind of had this experience that kind of put the bow on it for me. And the experience was, at the very end of this weekend, where we had kind of been really exploring our mindset and our souls greatest desires. At the very end, it was like, what is your biggest takeaway? And the thought popped in my head immediately. And the thought that popped in my head was that I have always belonged, even before I achieved. And when I realized that I don't have to do anything to qualify to be worthy of belonging, I felt this massive power within me. And it just created this intense desire to make sure that all women know that. Because there's no greater gift than knowing your worth and your ability to add value without having to qualify to add value or to receive the love that is your divine birthright.
Yeah, it's there. It's so there. You just have to just be willing and ready to receive it. I had a similar, very, very similar experience. Um, yeah, I can share it. I actually talked about it in a podcast episode, so I won't steal the thunder for you, but
I love that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for just pouring into us tonight. Like I said, you made my job really easy. I didn't have to ask any questions. You came prepared and you knew what you wanted to share, and you have a great story. And I want to just encourage everybody where you are, like we've talked about being in the trenches and feeling like you're a failure. Know that like that is part of your story wherever you are. Like 3 years ago, I couldn't come on Facebook Live. Like I hated who I was. And it was through me trying to repair who I was and my own self-image that I mended myself well enough to be here with you today. And so let your mess be your message, just like Ana Lee. She's sharing her beautiful story today. And I think all of you are in the middle of writing your life story, and you're the author. You get to decide what the ending looks like. And so we hope that all of these stories are inspiring for you. Again, I get goosebumps like on every single call. And so I just love it. This is a reminder that there's so many people that need to know these messages, and I love it. If you found this message helpful, comment below. We'd love to hear your story. The more interaction we get on each post, the more it helps other people find us. So thank you again, Ana Lee. I do have a favor to ask before you go.
Yeah.
So 2 things. One, we're going to ask to see what your giveaway is, and then I'm going to have you help me pick a number for yesterday's giveaway. So what are you giving away today?
So I am a big proponent of using nature to help really ground you in your goals and your visions and your aspirations, and especially in manifesting and creating the life that you love. So I chose doTERRA's wild orange. This is an essential oil that actually the emotional benefits of this oil are that it is the oil of abundance. And if you've been finding yourself in a state of lack, feeling like you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough influence, you don't have enough resources, not enough of anything, this is going to be your best friend, because it completely helps shift your mind into more than enough and abundance and open to receiving all the blessings that are going to come your way.
I knew there was a reason I loved wild orange. It's like one of my top 3 oils. I love wild orange. Awesome.
It is a beautiful oil.
Great. So the winner for the wild orange will be actually selected tomorrow. But today we're going to pick the winner from yesterday's giveaway. And that is, we had Jamie on the show, and she's giving away, you got to meet Jamie. I heard about your one-on-ones. That's really awesome. Yes. She's giving away 2 Norwex towels, which is,
oh my gosh, somebody is so lucky. I am obsessed.
So lucky. So Ana Lee, I'm going to have you help me pick a number from between 2 and 89.
Oh, 80, 89, 2 and 89, 8.
8. All right. Okay, our lucky winner is Naeem. Let me say this right. Naeemsha. I don't know if I said that right, but she's a member of the group, Naeemsha. She was referred by Barbie. So Naeemsha, you are the lucky winner. So I'll make sure that we connect her and Jamie so that she can get the Norwex towels. And then tomorrow I'll connect you with the winner of the wild orange.
Awesome. I'm so excited.
Yes, thank you again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this was inspirational for you. And join us again tomorrow for another episode of the 21 Day Summit. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.